In this video, I'm rolling with Brian. Brian is a fan of the channel who came to the school for a roll. I'm not sure how to handle this going forward. I certainly don't want anybody showing up to the school randomly. So just if you want to come, just give me a ring or reach out to me on Instagram, or at the very least, make sure you call the school before you show up. So Brian is a nice guy. He's a white belt. He's been training for about a month. He's from a Henzo Gracie affiliate on the Upper East Side in Manhattan. And he's a physical therapist. 43 years old, 130 pounds. That's another white belt, Nick, watching. Nick has a little bit more experience. They had a chance to roll together today. So I rolled with him for like 15 minutes, and then I gave him like a question and answer, and I showed him my armbar, step over armbar, and Kimura attacks from side control. And unfortunately, it didn't record. I'm not sure exactly why. So I offered him another roll. This is at an open mat, so we're free to do more what we want. So I'm giving him another 15-minute roll. So this is our second roll. I already kind of know what to expect. Like I said, he's a 1-month white belt. But the thing about him is, even though he's only 130 pounds, he's very strong. So he's a physical trainer. And he definitely feels like one. So here he's trying to climb over my guard, and you could see I just put one frame and I replaced it with another. That frame being my knee. That was really cool. I did the spider guard sweep, and then when he resisted, I pulled him into the triangle. I love that move. Obviously, it works easier on a guy that's only has 4 weeks of experience, but still fun to pull off. Again, I'm playing very relaxed. I'm not trying to be abusive or dominant. I'm kind of just taking what he gives me. But I'll tell you this, for a guy that's only been training a month, he's really good. So there I did a butterfly sweep, and he landed on my head sideways. So my head went sideways and hit the mat. And it really did a number on my neck there. Nobody's fault, just a strange accident. Again, it's always good to go easy, so when these things happen, we don't end up with a broken neck or something else. So he did land on the side of my head. We paused temporarily, and we're continuing. Because unless you have a major injury, you should continue. You shouldn't always stop when you catch an elbow or something. I mean, it's jiu-jitsu. It's a rough and tumble. What happened to the strong, silent type? Who said that? Leave it in the description. So here he's going right into my darce because he reached for my leg and he left under his head open. But I let go of it. I'm not looking to abuse him. As you can see, I'm very casual with my jiu-jitsu, but still precise. So here I wanted to do the step over armbar, but again, not with a lot of force. I'm not even looking. I'm doing it, everything on feel. So there, he did a good job. He almost pushed me over. And I did a good job of resisting, dare I say. I turned my hip and made a new angle. And that's what kept me on top there. So here, as you can see, I'm dropping for an ankle lock, but I'm not really looking to finish it. I just like getting into the position at this point. And I'm just kind of giving him every opportunity to get out. As you can see, I'm not flexing. I'm not pulling back. Now, if the position gets so tight that he has to tap, then so be it. Like if I get my arm perfectly in there, As you can see, I'm just seeing how long I can maintain this. Here I have a heel hook if I want, not in that exact position, but a quick adjustment. My leg locks certainly have come a long way in the last 2 years, 2.5 years. I mean, I guess I started taking them more seriously about a year and a half ago. So my thrill here is being able to maintain that leg entanglement. As you can see, I'm not really looking to finish it. So here I wanted to switch into a toe hold. Again, looking for the toe hold, and as you can see, I got it. So you basically want to bring the toes back to the crotchal region. No, I'm kidding. The buttocks. But I feel like off to the side is also going to help get the tap. So here I have my triangle. This is my diamond, my setup. And I switched from that to threatening the Kimura. When he resisted, I hip bump sweep, and when he resists, I take the Kimura. So again, it's a push-pull principle. So now I'm in a guillotine from the top. I'm trying to see if I could get my arm in deep enough, snake it in deep enough to finish. And he was able to roll me over. And I gave him side control there, which he was surprised. White belts are always amazed if you offer them side control, because so few people do it. For some reason, everyone has to win as many rolls as they can, even if it means submitting a bunch of white belts. But to me, I'll let a white belt start in side control. So here he's got me in a little bit of a cradle. I'm flexible that way, but it's definitely not a comfortable position. And there I escaped under his arm. I do that quite a bit. Again, using no effort. And we all know that sweep. So I'm trying to go from that sweep and connect it to an ashi. There goes Mike, by the way. The last round was with him. This was on the same day. So I found it interesting that, Brian recognized some of the guys. Unchokable, white belt, and, going for a toe hold there. Not a real one, an experimental one. But a toe hold nonetheless. So there, that looked like some type of... Oh, he had a Kimura. I got too relaxed, and he got me with the Kimura, and then I had to roll, which gives him the sweep to defend it. I don't remember the last time I was Kimura'd. And it's just due to arm positioning. I keep my elbows tight. It would be really hard for somebody to pull that off. So here I have him in a gift wrap, and I'm just gently rolling him over, not putting a lot of pressure. I let him put his knee in between us, because he's still pinned. There I'm anchoring myself to his neck with the back of my hand. Again, this is more experimental stuff, but this is how you find new technique. You're not going to find new offensive technique on a good black belt. John Danaher always said experiment on white and blue belts. I think he meant more like a experienced white belt. So here he's getting up on his side, and I have the Darce. So he's 130 pounds. He's a smaller guy, so it's really easy for me to sink that in. My arms are octopus and skinny. Though I've been working out with weights for at least the last 6 weeks, I believe. 5 days a week, I come home. Well, I mean, if I have jiu-jitsu, 3 or 4 of those days I have jiu-jitsu, I come home and I go right to my workout before I have lunch. Because I'm already pretty amped up by that point. I do relatively light dumbbells, 20 pounds, in between 15 to 25 pound dumbbells, depending on what I'm doing. I definitely recommend it for older grapplers because you lose muscle. I didn't really realize it until after the fact, and I noticed my arms were so skinny. I don't really need to be a big muscular person, but I want to look at least like an average Joe. There I was able to roll him over. That was really cool. It's always interesting to see what would work on someone who with little bit of training. Little to none. So here I'm falling back into the ankle. Yeah, he tapped before I thought he would because I didn't put my foot on his hip to really put any pressure. So I was surprised when he tapped. He may be apologizing even for tapping too early, but there's no reason to apologize. You don't owe anybody an explanation. If you tap because there's pressure, I don't care what the reason is, they have to stop. And it shouldn't be, making fun of you or saying it wasn't a real submission. Which I actually had a coach do to me. If you get me in a spider web and yank on my arm long enough, I'm going to tap. I don't need to stay there for 10 minutes. So I have in my open guard, I'm looking to do like an easy sweep, and now I'm back on the Kimura, only because that's what he's giving me. That's what's obvious. So I take just whatever is obvious. So normal people aren't going to be conscious about their arm position, and they're going to give up the Kimura pretty easily. And there from that, I swept him very gently. And even though I'm in mount, I don't have a lot of weight on him. I like a butterfly mount, like a more of a floating. And I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was Americana wrist lock simultaneously. Because I notice I do that now with the Kimura and the Americana. Instead of just doing a traditional one, I do it with the wrist lock at the same time. Why not? Why don't you all try it and you can leave a comment. Let me know how it works for you. I think you get the tap quicker. So here I'm letting him work. And I spun around right back to a leg entanglement. He's funny. He worries about getting tapped. You shouldn't worry about getting tapped. When you're new, just expect it. I pretty much got tapped for at least the first, I don't know, 2 years. I mean, did I submit people? Yeah, but I was definitely on the receiving end of submissions for at least the first 2 years. I was not a natural. but I would still say that's average. That's Yusuf. Here I'm just checking on the time. I know it's been a while, and he's getting really tired, and I don't want to push him too hard. So yeah, don't just show up at the school. If you want to train with me, just inbox me. A small donation is required. And here I'm going to give him some pointers. Again, I already showed him my step over armbar, Americana dilemma from side control, but it didn't record. You've all seen it. So remember, these post-round conversations, I think, are important. And you get to have them more in an open mat. I'm not sure what I was gesturing about there, but it must have been firing off too many shots or stepping on the gas too hard. You know, no matter what type of shape you're in, if you're driving a Formula One car, you could still burn out the engine. It could be the best engine out there, but if you push it too hard, and it's the same thing with people that train jiu-jitsu. They come in, he might be a triathlete, and he's just going and going and going, but in inefficient ways, you're going to gas out quickly. But if you can learn to relax, you could start to get a feel for the technique and what's going on. But if you see it as a street fight because you've never had a street fight, and to you this is like Mortal Kombat, it's tough to change that point of view. I just see it as playing. I'm not a big street fighter. I know I haven't had a fight in 15 years, but I've had some. And this is not a street fight. This is training jiu-jitsu, helping each other, self-cultivating. So here I'm showing him the double underarm escape. This really, I think, only works in no-gi. Sometimes you want to do a hip bump to get your arms back in. That's another lesson I'm showing him. And you want to make frames and then push off of your opponent. Move yourself away. Again, this is the making space principle. Don't try to push them off you. Try to use them as you make a frame and then push off of them. And push your hip back and away. And that's the armpit escape. So right there, I've showed him 3 escapes. Are there others? There's variations. But if you're in a fix and you need to escape, you have to start hip bumping, making frames, and pushing yourself out of there. If you're competing and it becomes urgent, you can't just lay there and wait for him to make a mistake. So here he's asking me how to maintain like a side control. But thank you for watching. If you want to help support the channel, I have an X-Marshal link in the description. Use code JITS50 and get 15% off. I have a new rash guard coming out next week. Or you could just buy me a coffee. The links are in the description. There I just showed him the value of passing from side to side and changing your hip direction. Make a new angle, change your hip direction. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe.